Just so you guys know what you're looking for in the morning, because yes, you get the full recording back. You guys should be able to see me. I'm orange, red, and yellow. So that means I'm the warmest thing inside the picture. Normally when I have my bridal parties, I'm the hottest thing inside the picture. It makes everybody giggle. So, and I have one of those tomorrow. So I was like, let me take my group of 5 tonight. I got my group of 10 tomorrow. But everything that's blue and black around me are the colder areas. We're going to try, with a smaller group, to keep somebody in view. Our skin temperature is going to be warmer than anything else out here, regardless of how hot and muggy it is. With that said, it is going to be difficult with a smaller group, but we will spread out just a hair for the camera person to be able to capture us. We are looking for those blue and black spots to move on their own. There's always going to be blue and black as long as somebody's in view, but we want it to start moving, take shape, kind of drop in temperature anywhere between 15, 20 to 30 degrees. So, with that said, Jeff, was it? Did I get it right? You're Jeff.
Josh. I'm Jeff.
Jeff.
I'm Jeff.
The J's are going to get screwed up.
It's okay.
You're going to hold that horizontal all night long. Your hand is over the lens. Good job. Everybody does it. Nope, it's still over. The camera is an attachment on the left-hand side of the phone. So the orange square means that it's recording. If it turns to a circle, just let me know. I'm going to actually have you stop the video halfway, give it like a 5-minute break, and we'll start it back up again, just so I have to splice it together and we don't lose any footage. The software update on that thing is horrible, so I have to splice it for you guys now. So again, keep it horizontal, camera on your left, you'll be good to go.
Would you rather do that with somebody else?
I was gonna say.
Touch it?
Huh?
You feel comfortable with that, or you want to?
I see.
Oh, I didn't mean that. We're good.
We got the right person? Everything's insured, we're fine. We're good, we're good.
Just keep somebody on this at all times, right?
You got it.
Okay.
You don't even have to watch it, just be the camera person. It's interesting to watch, but again, that device doesn't always catch something. It's not every night that something pops up on it. It just needs to be at the ready. Spirit boxes. Let's talk about these. So spirit boxes are a way for us to communicate with the dead. Tonight we're going to be using 2 different types of spirit boxes. This one in particular is going to sweep through FM radio stations at a very quick rate. Normally, it doesn't seem like you guys watch the show, so I'll explain. The TV shows will play these very fast as they can, so it's just white noise, just static. Then the host will normally give you what he thinks he heard in the middle of it, trying to convince you of the same thing. We're going to be doing this in real time, only mine are not super fast. They are slowed down on purpose. You guys aren't used to listening to this thing.
Right.
I am. However, I want the radio chatter to come through. The song lyrics, the DJs, the commercials. In the event we can make any of that little chatter out, whether it be a word or a full phrase, it's a 50-50 shot. I can match it to the location of wherever we are, a person I'm talking about in history, or something even going on with one of us. So it happens all the time. Tomorrow morning, you will get this full recording back. It does record the entire thing with no background noise, so we'll not know what we are saying. And even when I say put this thing down on mute, it's still recording at a nice, even level. I don't know how it does it, but it's why I have it. So, again, it's wonderful. I will give you 15, about 20 markers of things that I find, whether they're relevant or not. Reason why is because you're kind of training yourself to listen to the entire thing. If it's relevant, I will tell you why that specific phrase is relevant to that location, and then give you the backlink of where I got my information. Again, my gimmick is honesty. I'm all about you guys actually verifying me. It's a good thing we didn't give him the camera.
Yeah, it's a very good thing. You
I
didn't
take
make
that back. Maybe it's a good thing he gave the camera up, because I'm the one who didn't give it
The
to him.
transfer was the issue.
So,
Wherever you feel the least attached to.
he'll be just fine.
I'm kidding, Josh.
Kind of. Not really. Sorry, not sorry. Alright, so this is sweeping through the FM radio stations already. So as you can see, the numbers are already starting to move. I do have it set on the slowest setting. So this one's actually going to go to you this time. You have one button to worry about. Don't hit anything else. There's a wheel at the top. Control the volume. I'll kind of give you the heads up of when we turn the spirit boxes up. But for now, definitely get used to where that wheel is at. You got it. And it just said perfect. Just saying.
That's awesome.
This one. This is another spirit box. Was it Donna? This one, you seem a little hesitant, so I'm gonna give you something really easy to do.
Okay.
This one is gonna give us words in the center of the screen from time to time. So it's gonna save all of those words to a list. Here's what I'm gonna tell you about this phone app, because that's exactly what it is. 80% of what comes up on this thing doesn't mean anything. It's, pardon my French, but it's bullshit. It doesn't mean anything. It's meant to try to scare you. In the event we actually get a specific detail about the location, a person, or one of us going on, obviously that's a big clue. That's what we're looking for. I'm going to clear out last night's list. They actually had over 70 terms. That's been about the average lately. and we're going to start off fresh. At times, I'm going to say, Donna, where are we at with that list? All you'll need to do is hit that little white box, and it'll give you everything we have so far.
Okay.
And then you just hit the circle back in the top. Right now it says stranger, so I am your stranger. Stranger danger. That's our first word.
You strangers. Nice.
Brian, you do
I bet
Brian,
I
you're going to be my
thought it
multitasker.
Okay.
Oh, shoot.
Oh man,
That'll
we're in
be
trouble.
You guys are all worried about each other. This is awesome. Definitely a family dynamic. It's great. So we need EMF readers whenever we're doing, this kind of work. So the top number that you see is actual electromagnetic fields. So anything that is going to be an electronic is going to probably set it off a little bit. Obviously, my phone's not setting off a full pulse right now, but anything above 2.5, I kind of want to know what's going on with that. And I'm still going to try to debunk, try to disprove that it's something paranormal first. So again, I've seen this one go all the way up to 150. The ones you guys see on TV only go to 25 milligauss. The bottom number, in the event, oh my God, I'm losing names.
Ashley.
Ashley, in case Ashley finds something on her camera, you and I can figure out what it is by the temperature at the bottom number. It gives us an ambient temperature from the yellow probe at the top. Last but not least, the last function, which we don't use all the time, and I'm going to show you more about this one. A lot of people get scared about that. Sorry
What am I
about
looking
that.
for?
But it's an actual motion detector.
keep
So if something gets
someone
close to the antenna, it
in
will
the-
go
in the
off.
camera
There's an
frame.
EMF field
Is
being
something gonna pop
generated
up back
around
here?
the antenna. I have it set pretty small because we will be
Well,
moving.
what you're looking for,
But again, all I need you to do
anything
for
that
now is leave the little flap open in the
is
back, and I'll show you
spirit
more at the first
It's gonna
location.
be
Okay?
black
Just watch
and
your numbers, that's
blue,
all you
and
got.
it'll move, it'll
You think
take
I forgot
shape.
about you?
Not
That's
at
why you
all.
want to keep somebody in
I
at
figured
all
somebody
times.
has to
So
get
you
last
can have that contrast.
You're getting the new device.
So,
The new one.
okay.
I've only had it for less than 2 months now. We're still experimenting with it.
No pressure.
Okay.
No,
No
pressure
pressure.
at all. None at all.
Cool.
It's a little crazy looking.
Can you multitask?
Love it.
So, quick demo with this so you guys know what
Go
we're
for it.
looking for. You guys should not be able to see me in that tiny little screen. It should be pretty dark.
It is.
Let's turn on some lights.
Now we can see you.
Without light that you can see with your own eyes.
Right.
So again, we're working with full spectrum lighting on this guy. So we're going to be looking for things in darker spots with the 2 lights that I just turned on. This is long range. You leave it on all night. Don't worry about any of those switches. This is short range. So if somebody's really close to you, you could just turn it off because it's going to bleach out anyway.
Then
So
we're gonna see
you
yours.
still want to get the long range to go past.
Okay.
So again, there's a little red button right here. Your record is right here. The files are so large on this guy, we're only going to record in about 2 to 3 spots. We only have about an hour worth of video on there, so we're going to savor it for our really good hotspots that I normally have.
Cool.
Fair enough?
Love it.
All right. Now that everybody has tools and devices.
And I'm assuming you will give me the heads
Oh,
up
yeah.
whenever it's time.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we're not going to be separated that far.
Like it.
Questions, comments, concerns so far?
Let's do
See
it.
why we're concerned. He just sit there in the middle of the road.
Yeah, they're gonna come close, I'm telling you. So let's talk about the building where I had you guys meet me up at. So 251 East Bay Street. They're actually turning it back into Big John's Tavern, but back in the 70s it was also called Big John's Tavern. Big John was a football player for the 1947 New York Giants. Hang on, wait a second. You guys are gonna make me work and talk my head off tonight. I can feel it. Oh, it's gonna be fun. So, but Big John, he used to sit in the back of the bar, and he would tell the bartender if the cadets coming over from the Citadel, because this was their hangout, if they were old enough to drink it. One night, 2 guys come in, they're not old enough to drink. Big John has a bartender throw them out. They come back the next night, and they try to steal the cash register from the front of the bar. John's not happy. He starts pounding these guys into the floor. He recognizes them from the night before, so he's just beating the hell out of them. A couple of shots go off. John gets hit in the neck, and the bullet lands in the wall. John gets up, keep in mind he's the one who got shot, goes back to the bar. He tells the bartender to get him another beer, get the guys on the floor an ambulance. So, first thing is, John's the one that got shot, and he's the only one that got up. Second, nobody died in that story. So what's haunting the place is the bullet hole. It's allegedly still here. I say allegedly because they are renovating the place as we speak. So I'll have to go back in and check. People that sit in the front of the bar tend to get a little queasy, nauseous headaches. Those are light symptoms. Anybody feels any of those type of things tonight, I need to know immediately. The reason why I tell the story first. So again, fingers crossed, we're going to be dealing with paranormal activity, but I have had people pass out from this tour in the dead of winter, so no, it was not from the heat. So again, it just depends on who's dealing with it. But let's not talk about our own health. Donna's like, are we serious right now? Like, this guy is legit.
Don't worry,
That's
dude.
crazy.
The doctor said it's cool.
The first time somebody passed out, I took CPR classes the next day. Like, I was just like, I'm not doing this.
Well,
But
she's a nurse. I'm a doctor. He's a pharmacist.
Don't
We
be
got
telling people that. Pressure.
We got you
pressure.
covered.
it. Is that for him?
Same building, 1886, we had a big earthquake here. Allegedly, this is where the first death occurred. So, piece of the mantle you guys see in the middle of the building, that white mantle, also wraps around the front on the east bay side. A piece of it broke off, struck somebody in the back of the head, and apparently killed him, and they say you could see his ghost in the middle of East Bay Street in the middle of the night. Notice I said apparently and allegedly a lot with that story because there's no proof. I don't have any proof. It's just a great segue so you guys weren't thinking about getting sick on my tour, but with the team I have, I feel more secure than I ever have. So let's
Until
go.
we're all the
We're gonna
ones
move
laying
this
on the
way.
ground.
Yeah, until we're the ones on the ground.
Yeah, right?
Exactly.
And you're going to be testing me for my CPR training.
Oh,
You know they change that like every day.
Yeah, I'm sure they do. Yeah, that was like a year and a half ago when I took that. So.
Oh, it's different now.
They don't technically change it every day, but it seems like it.
No, they
I'm
do. I
sure
just
it
took
does.
it last month.
Well, no, do that again.
So I'm actually going to stop this over here. So only because these people are leaving work and they get a little finicky about their private lot, which is perfectly fine. It's public, even though they say it's private. So this is the big red barn. This is where we keep your horses for your carriage rides. Okay, you guys can probably smell them already. I'm immune. I can't smell anything. Not to mention, my wife and I were packing today because we're moving, and she was spraying perfume. Was going, "Do you like this one? Do you like this one?" And like my nose is so clogged right now from smelling all these. I'm like, just get rid of it. Just get rid of all of them. I don't care. Start over. So anyway, but the only history here is really simple, and I do this, one of the first stops on purpose, so I can kind of, teach you guys more about your devices. This is the same red barn where we had the horses that delivered milk and eggs to the residents of Charleston. So again, really simple history. Every place I take you to, there's always going to be keywords. With Big John, it's obviously John, big, anything dealing with a bar. 1947, New York Giants. So those are kinds of the terms that I'm looking for on the recording of the Spirit Box because it was on mute the entire time. So that first couple of minutes, that's what I'm listening for. In this one, it's usually things wrapped around those horses. Not to mention, we could still get things wrapped around Big John's Tavern. We are still very, very close to the location. So let's talk about the two spirit boxes we have. Only one makes noise, which is good. I kept the other one in the bag. Spirit boxes, this is not, is somebody here? Because if somebody answers no, like, they're obviously somebody here. So we're going to just stay away from yes and no questions all night long. And what we're going to be doing is asking for specifics. You guys came on this tour to actually see something actually happen. If somebody's here, tell me what color the big red barn is. Again, I told you I'm going to keep it nice and simple for you guys at the beginning. So we're going to be looking for the color red. We're going to be listening for the color red. They're using DJ voices to portray messages back to you. So in the event they can't find the color red to give back to you, it might be something specifically red, like a fire truck, blood, heart. Any of those type of things are what are clues, so to speak. Am I going to get excited if what color is the big red barn and we get the word blood? Yes, that's a correct answer. However, I won't get excited when I get vague terms that aren't super connected. If you obviously hear the number 40 come through on your spirit box, and you have the word art that shows up on your spirit box, Art Faircloth was number 40 on Big John's team back in 1947. Two clues make sense. We have an awesome sandwich going on. But again, if you have a direct answer of what color is a big red barn, blood, I'll take it. Like, that's the direct answer. In the event we don't get that kind of answer out of either one of you, and it turns out to be, okay, that question's not being answered, then what's inside the barn? There's horses, they're animals, they're draft horses, that's their breed. I've heard the word draft here before. Obviously they were delivery horses that delivered milk and eggs, and milk and eggs can be portrayed as milk and calcium. I've seen that before. I'm sorry, protein and calcium. So you guys got the gist. But again, those are the kinds of things, like, I'm looking for specifics. There's always a way to reword a yes or no question. So just kind of keep that in mind. If you're always if the answer to your question is going to be yes or no, oh, how can I reword that? If somebody's here, tell me your name. Do you know what I mean? That's a different than is somebody here, right? So that's what we're looking for. As far as, I am going to work with the thermal imaging camera just to kind of show you a little bit more first. And then I do want the rest of you to spread out, and then that way you can kind of get the gist of how your devices work. I'm going to bounce around with each one of you, but go ahead and turn up your spirit box just a little bit as you're kind of portraying, going through this lot right here. And start asking those questions. If you don't want to ask anything, because some people feel weird asking people they can't see questions, just listen in. See if you can actually hear some of the things that are coming through there, which is perfectly fine. Same thing with you. As far as what yours is doing, are you getting any words yet?
Yeah, refuse. I got bike and I got refuse.
You got the word bike?
Uh-huh.
Do you realize that the bike taxi place is that building right here at the back?
Okay.
So
I did
that's
see that, actually.
so again, I'm looking for a specific name at that point because there's a story there that I don't normally tell because it's pretty recent. So it dealt with a suicide inside that building, so or somebody related to that building. So we'll see if that person's name pops up and kind of take it from there. If it's there,
There's like refused service to those
We're
two
gonna find out.
kids with Big John.
possibly kind of a stretch. I would be more convinced if it said military, cadet, or underage. Do
Interesting.
you see where I'm going? So
Central.
again,
Central.
lots
Not
of good
necessarily,
stuff.
but there we go.
You got the point.
I see. Okay.
All right. I'm going to work with Ashley first. You and I are actually going to go over to that blank wall. Everybody else kind of spread out around here, and let's get that spirit box turned up. All right, so point your camera directly at the blank wall and kind of tell me what you see going on in there.
Heat.
Mainly one color, right? So the reason why I say leave somebody's skin temperature in there, that wall should have been the opposite color. Should have turned blue at this point.
Now it's blue.
So again, remove obviously the much warmer temperature, and then it's going to turn back to red again because it's always going to look for that warmer spot. Now, as far as you got dots moving around on your screen, it's always going to give you the hottest point and the coldest point. That's the way I have it set up. I always like to see where the variation in temperature is, and I know it's probably in the triple digits tonight because of the humidity. That's technically not so. It was about 88 degrees driving in downtown tonight, which means it probably feels about 95 to 96 with our humidity. So just gauging this humidity piece that I do on a nightly basis, you get used to what's what. Not to mention I know how much I'm sweating, so it's about
Right.
96. So again, those triple digits are a little extreme, but it does record audio as well. So everybody else that watches this video after tomorrow will get this same explanation. That's why I do this one-on-one. But again, that's why we keep that person in view at all times after the next stop, because we're going to spend a little bit of time at the next stop. This is a brief one. That's when I'll say, Ashley, let's go ahead and stop your video and give it a break, and then I'll tell you when to start it back up again, and then that way I'll splice those two videos together, and it will be actual all investigation instead of us walking from one stop to the next. So, but yeah, you got this.
So I'm just looking for
Cold spots.
like, okay.
Literal
anything
cold
to
spot.
show up on
And at
it.
the next stop, I'm going to show you a piece of evidence that I caught that gives you a better gist, and I give it to you at the next stop because that's where it happened. And that way you know exactly what's going on there. And that way you can visualize it for yourself because you're there.
Okay.
It's a lot easier to see. It's a very weird corner of that particular next space. So that's why I wait till that next stop. And again, I give you the explanation of why it happened, what happened actually at that night, and it's probably my best piece of evidence, and it happened over a year ago. So it was like July of last year when I reopened back up again. So it was kind of like, oh my God, that's the craziest thing I've seen on there. So I saved it. All right, let me bounce around with everybody
Thank
else.
you.
You're welcome.
Stop. I got a cold spot right behind you.
All right, let's talk more about your millimeter and then how it's going along. So have you seen this guy move at all? You got a 3.4. Beautiful. We're going to actually shut the temperature off. We already have a temperature gauge going on upstairs.
No.
So in the event that you see
I
something,
don't do any of this.
This will be fun. That'll be fun.
Is that bullshit?
Let's see. Good.
You missed your own judgments at the end.
Like bullshit about that bar?
No, that's actually true.
I want to
The
ask him what
stories,
he's...
stories that he's telling us are true. It's history about the buildings, about where we're at, things of that nature.
I don't know. Am I expecting something to pop up on here? Like,
Blue,
what color is it gonna be?
black or blue.
Black and blue.
The whole thing is black and blue
It's
right
gonna be
now.
dark. You gotta wait for it to take shape.
So you look at one of them,
Feel
when
that
you're
black back
looking for
there?
any kind of light that's moving on its own or taking the shape of somebody.
Oh, Josiah.
Yeah, I'm afraid if you even touch them all.
Yeah, but see, those are just like car things over there.
right hand side, I think where your fingers are, there's 4 buttons.
That's the difference.
Full reset. Take it back to green. You have a little bit of something going on.
Oh, Josiah. There's something black right behind you. The door.
But again, you kind of have the same view of the spirit box, like I'll say, because again, it will distract you from anything close to it. So I'll say, let's turn your motion sensor off, so it's antenna in, white button, out. Have you heard anything yet?
Red.
Red.
It's not red.
Anomalies and red.
I can't make this stuff up. I promise you. And he's got a little bit of craziness going on.
What's it say?
So I'm sorry.
It said
that's-
anomalies
that's
and then it
something
said red.
It's just it's weird listening.
Okay.
It goes slow.
We need to turn so I can find stuff.
so- Again, any
Oh, we
word
need to
you can
turn.
make
It'll be
out
like
of it.
random noises.
Yep.
Random like loud words.
Yep, that's what we're listening for. Anything that those DJs and commercials are going to say back to us. Lifeline in the world. But I'm excited about Red already. Like, that's good. The fact that they were able to find the word in the app. So the game you and I are playing, because again, I told you, this is meant to be a game in a host. Who's giving us the word? Is it the app, or is it a ghost? And it's not a coincidence when that is my go-to piece of information that leads me to all of the other data the next morning.
That's awesome. What's up?
Eugene, look at this stuff moving behind your side.
Something's going off there.
So just say it's right behind him.
Oh, yeah,
Things that are not supposed to reflect light.
I feel like someone touched me on the shoulder.
Alright, I say we go learn some real history. What do you
Sweet.
think? Probably turn that motion sensor off. I'm excited about Red already. Like, this is me excited, by the way. So, I want that guy to go, it's haunted, you go in that corner, you go over there.
Love to even kill.
Geiger counter.
I have no doubt that van is haunted.
Welcome to another beautiful site of Charleston. It's a parking lot, everybody. Congratulations.
That's okay.
You made it. So,
It's always good.
yep, always. So, 3.9? Yeah, you're going to get a little craziness in here. That's good that you already have something. And with his device, you guys will see me writing things down. His is the only device that does not record anything. So I have to remember to record the 2.4 that did occur over there. With the motion sensor, he's still getting used to it, so I'm pretty much dismissing all of it because it will move with his motion. So what is this place? This is the Charles and Eliza Pinckney Mansion site, which, by the way, I also want to point out we are 2.5 days away from a full moon, and full moons for me normally mean the exact opposite of what you think. It is usually the worst night for paranormal activity. My best nights, you guys have to remember, I'm out here 6 nights a week. New moons, the exact opposite. So in the paranormal
Darkest.
world, it's probably full over there. So that's kind of how I look at that. But again, some people are like, oh, full moon. I'm like, yeah, good luck. We'll be fingers crossed if we can find anything. So I hate to be like that, but that's when they book their tours. Anyway, so with this particular lot, there's a lot of history that goes on here, but keep in mind this is kind of a level 2. This is not going to be what color is George Washington's white horse, like what we did with the red barn. Now granted, we did get an answer about the red barn, even though we may not have asked it out loud, but that's perfectly fine. They already heard me asking it. But you will get answers from the 2 spirit boxes we have, along with any other activity that's going to happen from the 2 cameras and or the motion sensor in the back.
Awkward and William.
What was the one before that?
Off and then awkward and now William.
No, I got nothing on William. I'm trying to think. There's probably a connection, but it's probably not close enough for me to say, yeah, that's definitely what's going on. In fact, he's got activity in his head. So, what actually is this place? Charles and Eliza had a son named Charles. They had a nephew named Charles. The son and the nephew were signers of the Constitution for South Carolina. You guys are on vacation. Nobody wants to talk about politics, including me. So we're actually going to move on to Eliza. She's way cooler anyway. So Eliza married Charles at a young age. I'm not going to tell you how old she was, but I will tell you Charles was over double her age. So there's a pretty big age gap between them. She married him because her father in England thought he was dying, and he wanted to see all his kids one last time. She didn't believe he was dying, so she got married. This is the 1740s. There's no such thing as citizenship yet. He's not moving, which is fantastic. But I want to say, what did it go up to?
140.
140?
Yeah.
Remember that number. I'm going to need to record it, because that is one of the highest. I've only seen it go to 149, and that's been in this lot, just so you guys know. Very interesting that we're spiking that high already. That's amazing. Plus the 24 over there. You guys are throwing numbers at me. You've got to get rid of the numbers. So, anyway, she got married, and again, because of the father, that is a notification. I see like the red light here is on. I'm sorry, guys. This is causing. That's giving us like a temperature gauge or something that's going to go crazy with temperature. So you might want to actually keep your video on.
Rihanna.
Nope, it's not that. That's one of the common names I see.
Okay.
So again, I'm going to call that part of the 80% yes.
Okay.
But the 1740s, no such thing as marrying for a green card with no citizenship. So Dad gets better. She was right. She actually married Charles out of love, but she was right. Dad did get better. He started sending her gifts over from England. One of those gifts happened to be the plant indigo. Indigo is a plant that makes blue dye that makes our blue jeans blue. We're wearing it right now. So again, pretty interesting stuff. Our rice plantations were going downhill. She swooped right in as a businesswoman, called her dad and said, I need somewhere to sell this. This is going to be huge for us. She's selling it overseas now. She's now a businesswoman in the middle of colonial times, something absolutely unheard of. So obviously this was where our mansion was. The other piece of it is that her garden was like right in front of us. So she experimented with the indigo here and learned from her yellow slaves on how to keep it cultivated in our weird temperatures. It's not always hot down here, as you guys know. So it does get cold. So she had to learn about it here, and then she moved it over to Mount Pleasant, just north of here. That's just a quick history on Eliza, but there are some weird facts you can ask about on your spirit boxes. So stick with somebody with a spirit box, but we definitely need to be following Brian, since he's going to know where the hot spots are going to be. Eliza was the second wife named Eliza from Charles, back to back. Both Elizas go by their maiden name. I'm pretty sure I don't have to explain what a maiden name is in this group. So they both start with the letter L. So kind of keep that in mind. It's very odd. Obviously, you can ask about the marriage when they got married. The mansion is obviously not here anymore. What happened to it, and when did that tragedy happen? I'll give you the clue that it was a tragedy. Ask anything you want to about Eliza's death. She's pretty open. Eliza, how old were you when you died? What did you die from? Where are you buried? And what U.S. president was a pallbearer at your funeral? So, like, that's a big one, too, yeah. So, a lot of people ask about that one. They like to go after that one first. The children. I already gave you that there was one child named Charles, but don't poke the bear. There is a tragedy among one of her children, so if you keep poking the bear, all activity will stop, including the readings we're getting on the EMF reader. I've seen it go dead silent, no pun intended. It's crazy. So, again, it's just one of those things. And it won't just stop here, it'll stop throughout the rest of the night. I've seen it. Again, 2 years I've been out here, and people call me later. I'm like, I know why we didn't have much activity. What happened? I was asking about Eliza's tragedy. So, again, just kind of keep that in mind. Just kind of get some names, maybe find out how many boys, how many girls, and just kind of leave it alone if you're going to ask about the children at all. In the event one of the children wants to come through, I'll know based off the word that you guys are telling me you're hearing and seeing. So, and I will tell you that William is not one of those names. So I know that was probably the first question in your head, but that was the first thing I was going through. Again, spread out. I do have to check you guys in on the app that you guys purchased your tickets from, so kind of give you guys a head start. You're already rolling with yours. Go ahead and start your video, so you got to tap that button on the top of your camera. Keep in mind, people have their cars parked in here, so they're not real keen about cameras being
Getting 49.50 over here. Fair enough.
but again, this is a fun one, so we will spend a good 10 minutes in here or so. So let's just try to find some good evidence, because we're going to get significant evidence, and we're going to stay on a little bit longer. You're pretty quiet, aren't you? Or are you just focused?
I have no clue what we're doing.
You have no clue what you're doing. You're looking for cold spots.
Well,
Check you guys in, and then I'm going to probably come to you first, actually, to show you that evidence that I was talking about.
Okay.
So,
Were there 7 kids?
No.
Interesting.
You got the number 7, I
Yeah.
take it?
Got number 7.
It popped up before we asked, so I was curious. You gave us 4 and then 7.
So the actual word 7 popped up?
So is he saying we're gonna find a ghost in here? Huh?
Possible? Every time we get behind this way,
I'm so confused, Eugene.
I think we're really going to see it tomorrow. Is it absolutely? It's awesome.
I forgot what you're talking
I know, I get you excited about one
about. I
question.
forget the questions. What is that?
Alright. Evidence from this accident. Let me show you. This actually occurred up in that corner right over there, so just so you know what you're looking at. So this is obviously the wall right here. They're going to see 2 heads walking past. Did you see the orange heads?
Mm-hmm.
They're living, because obviously they're orange. We're going to find the ghosts. The ghosts are going to be going the opposite way, right about there when it comes over. Did you see the 2 black
did.
heads coming
Okay.
through? Notice there was always somebody in view when that occurred, so they should have been the same color like the first 2 heads. Now, what was interesting about that night was they actually called me up there. I'll never forget it because of this night. They called me up there because they thought they saw shadows. So, of course, my first instinct is go up and debunk. You know, I got people excited at the beginning of the tour. You know, did they catch a shadow up a lamppost or something? I didn't even see this till the next morning. So I have sent it over to firemen and mechanics, and I said, you got to tell me what's going on with this thing. You know, and they're like, yeah, that's 2 heads. Like, it's legit. Like, they're like this, just walking in sync. It's not a car. It's not anything else other than 2 heads walking past that post.
Okay, I'm with you.
So now that's basically what you're looking for.
Okay,
I'd like to give you that heads up.
that's helpful. Thank you. Yeah. I gotta get my hand up there.
That's dope. Look at it. What?
No, but look over here. I swear there's somebody right over there.
There's definitely somebody right there. That's crazy.
What are you hearing on that thing?
Eliza, how old were you when you married Charles?
You heard anything yet?
I mean, not really. I heard a little bit. Brian had his thing on. And that thing was going crazy.
Yeah. We're getting definitely some definitive answers.
I thought I saw something on that thing right there. When I asked this little
Yeah.
thing that you're doing.
Well, that one light will flicker from time to time. So if there is something going on, that light will flicker, and it's usually with the other EMF meter I use, they go in sync with one another.
Right.
Like it gets pretty nuts in here. It just
Right.
depends.
It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. That's why I call it ghost hunting. You wait a few minutes, nothing happens, you move on.
So if I miss something on this, will you catch it tomorrow?
Fingers crossed. So I do a spot check on all of the devices. So again, that's why it only takes me 2.5 hours to go through it, because I do go through all of it. Obviously the whole word list I go through, and that way I'm not missing
You're
anything there.
suspicious of.
The 2 videos that are being taken, it's a spot check. So every 5 minutes I watch for about a minute. And the same thing with his. And his is obviously going to be the longest because it's going to stay on the whole night. So for every 5 minutes, that's why you get like 15 to 20 terms. If I find anything, and because I mean, you're going to probably record probably about an hour and 20 minutes, an hour and 30 minutes. So I'm going to watch maybe what, 15 minutes of the video. He's only going to capture maybe 40 minutes of video. So I'm only going to watch 8 minutes out of that one. So if I capture something within those 8 minutes that are scattered, that's kind of the mentality of how I do this. Not to
Okay.
mention everything's going on with Brian's stuff.
Right.
I'm recording all of it.
Okay.
So you have all of those notes as well.
That's crazy.
What other words do you have? 'Cause yours is like
Yeah.
spot on.
Oh,
No, not that one. No.
okay.
This
Which
one right
Oh,
here,
this
the
one.
list.
Okay.
Nick.
And is your light blinking? Like, can you see your timer going down? Or you got something crazy going on?
Well, there's some lights went across
They
the
were
top of
shining
there.
into each other.
Some different lights. The red and blue lights were flashing up here. I just standing here.
And what I like to do with this one, because normally this is meant to be set up like without anybody touching it, like set up on a table, and I'll ask someone's here, maybe just go to blue.
Yeah,
and
but
then
any numbers or anything?
That way it's a
After how old
specific
you were
color.
when you married
That way it's a
old?
definitive answer. You can do this.
Did you say it like that?
But I usually do it for breakfast. Usually for breakfast.
Eliza, how old were you when you died?
Go to blue.
That's interesting.
The distance. I mean, there's been far and distance. Is there more far or distant?
Eliza, show me blue.
Interesting.
Well, the word distance kind of shows up when I give you the explanation of all of these things.
Eliza, show me blue, please.
I'm not going to leave y'all hanging.
No, that's what I want to know. That's what I'm looking to see. Like, what?
Alone.
Eliza, show me blue.
Did the child die alone?
No, because their nose are the church.
True.
Unless there was a crash, like he fell off a cliff or something. Fell from a top.
Show me blue, Eliza. Eliza, show me blue. Eliza, show me blue. Eliza, show me blue. Eliza, show me blue. If you're here, Eliza, show me blue. Let Ashley see you.
What battle was your son
Eliza, what battle was your son injured?
Eliza, show me blue. She's over there, but
Yeah,
there.
I love the details. I'm cool with that.
You see her?
Eliza, show me blue. I'm going to turn blue on there. He said make him show it again, step away. You hear that?
These are
Eliza, show me blue.
I love it whenever that is like curtailed to that area. You know, this is a wooded area, you know, this is a like Charleston is.
Eliza, show me blue.
Eliza, get close to that black box. Metal stick, make it go to blue.
Eliza, come on, make it go blue. Make it go blue, Eliza.
Thank
did.
you.
Eliza, make it go blue. Come on, Eliza, get close. Go close.
Eliza, step away from the black box. Make it stop the noise. Thank you. Can we try again and make it go to purple? You gotta get a little closer than you were with blue.
Eliza, get closer. Let's go purple. Please. Please, just a little bit closer. That's the purple.
That's not an every purpose.
Eliza, please go purple.
Say please.
Eliza, we know you're here. Just go closer and go purple.
Eliza, our motive is to learn about your family and your history.
No.
That's why it doesn't.
Liza. Can you show me purple? I'm a queen making myself. You can push the stick.
Liza, we simply want to learn about you and your family and the history of your beautiful mansion here.
You can do it.
And obviously, we're awesome because we had a president.
Check this out here, Liza.
Liza, what do you want to tell us about?
Let's go, Liza.
Batteries.
Well, there's the Charleston battery.
Yeah, but you know, actually things like cameras, batteries, anything like that, it usually means something from that. As far as the devices.
Interesting.
I've had things come up where it says camera,
Liza, come on.
and I pick the camera. and
Give it to us just a little bit. Liza, let's go to purple.
Or it'll say no
You were
camera,
close.
and one of them will
Come on, Liza.
Batteries.
Come on, Liza. Show us purple.
keep going.
You're here. Come on. Show us purple. Show us purple, Liza. A
Liza,
little
show
bit
us
closer.
indigo.
So while he's holding that still, I am going to give you guys the answers to your question. We're going to start off with what we actually found. So you have the number 7. Eliza died at the age of 70. So I was waiting for the word T to show up. So that way there's actually 17. So again, interesting that popped up. You also have the word first. You're going to know we're talking right now. So we have the word first. That is referring to the president that was the pallbearer at her funeral. It was George Washington. So very interesting fact there. I don't think we have anything else other than the word lead, but you guys concluded that maybe somebody got shot. And yes, one of her children, named Thomas, another son, did get shot in the Battle of Camden. That was for the Revolutionary War. Now, the word Camden has shown up here before with Thomas's name. That's how I learned about it. I have had people have their right leg start hurting in this lot, I think on 3 occasions now. However, it was his left leg that got shot. He was on a cane the rest of his days. So let's continue on with the kids just because I'm already in the midst of them. The next child, because you guys have Charles Thomas, the next one is Baby George. So again, Baby George, we don't know what happened to him. Basically, the death certificate has the same death and birth as the month and year, so they're the same thing. So we don't know if the baby was days or weeks old. There's also no grave or headstone for this child. So we do know that George was named after Eliza's father. So that makes we have 3 Georges: the president, the father, the son. The interesting thing about all of this, and this is just a joke, and I know you guys will get it. Some kids look at me and say, "Really?" Eliza's maiden name is Lucas. So what's her father's name?
George Lucas.
George Lucas. And then I get kids that ask me, "Isn't that the guy that made Star Wars? That was Eliza's dad?" I'm like, no,
Yep,
hang on, wrong timeline. So I figure I have an intelligent group among me tonight. I can make jokes. Let's see. Where were we? Oh, there was one daughter, Harriet. That's what I was waiting for with the distance, because she did move away from Charleston and moved up to Horry. Horry County is Myrtle Beach, just so you have an idea. She married in Horry. Obviously, prominent family to prominent family. There was a lot of letter writing, so there's usually like distance letters, ink, paper. So I wait for those extra things that kind of pop up. Yeah. So that's what I was waiting for, those extra. Nothing solidified yet. So of course, when I listen to the regular Spirit Box, hopefully some of those clues will pop up. The mansion did catch fire in 1861. So that was in the Great Fire of 1861. Every tour guide is going to tell you about a Great Fire of whatever year it happened. This one in particular, we've had dozens of them in case you've never been here. Literally dozens. This one started at the Harris Teeter up the road and went from Peninsula Coast to Peninsula Coast. This building just happened to be in the way. We are standing where the damage occurred, like literally right now. So again, it was only about half of it, and the only photos we have of this building are after the fire. So it's very interesting. My wife and I, as I told you guys, I'm going to have a shop down here. This is actually one of the plots that we're looking at simply because we would rebuild the mansion the way it was originally set up based on the photos that are available after the fire and some descriptions from some friends of the family.
Right.
So it only takes $20 million. So no pressure, guys. Working on it because it would take an archaeological dig to be able to get this particular lot because it's never had a dig. And I would want the artifacts for the haunted hotel upstairs, obviously. You know, and being respectful of the way we're doing things is what we're actually after. Let's see, what else did we not cover? So, Eliza was 22 when she got married to Charles, who was 45. So 23 years between them. We normally get 22 here. And that was actually the day of her birth or death as well, so May 22nd. 1793. I almost forgot the year. I almost said 1973. It's got the reverse. So 1793, which of course now George Washington makes a whole lot of sense to use as far as that goes. Let's see. I think that about covers all the questions. You guys weren't going rogue. I kind of listened in on all of you. None of you asked any crazy questions. Any other questions about the Pinckneys that I can maybe answer for you that I might know about? Interesting thing about George, the president, that things will show up here. I actually had the EVP George Washington show up twice in the same week. That's how I learned about it. There's got to be a link to the Pinckney somewhere. And then later on, as it kept going and we were asking about it, we started getting Martha, Apple, Cherry, Wooden. Actually, Wooden showed up here last night, and everyone's like, "Why Wooden?" I'm like, "Yeah, Wooden actually." So that's the reason why. So from here, we are going to actually head up to Lodge Alley. So we are going to stop the recording on your end and on your end, actually. So go ahead.